Taking a look at this one, it says a toothpaste is recommended by 4 out of 5 dentists. You've probably heard that on commercials at some point. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend it. If 200 dentists are surveyed, how many will recommend the toothpaste then? And so the idea here is proportionality, all right? If 4 out of 5 dentists are going to recommend it, well, then how many out of 200 should we expect to recommend it, okay? And the idea here is to setting up a proportion. Okay? And when we set up a proportion, the key to setting up a proportion from a word problem is that we make sure we're just consistent in terms of the way we set up each of the ratios, that we do each of them in kind of the same order. We structure them the same way. And so if I look at the ratio that's given, it's right here. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 is the ratio that they're giving me. And so I'm going to write that as 4 over 5. Okay, that's the ratio that was given. But now think about what that ratio means. The 4 represents how many dentists actually recommend this thing, and it's out of a total of 5 dentists, okay? And so as we kind of think about this thing, the top of this guy, that 4 is recommend, and the 5 is total. And so I'm going to set up a proportion, which means I'm just going to write the other ratio. I'm going to say, hey, this equals another ratio. Well, when I do the other ratio, I just have to set it up the same way, okay? It's kind of working backwards. I want, up here, I want recommended, the number that recommended, and down here, I want the total. And so what happens is the only other value that's given here is the 200 dentists. And so the question is that the total dentists, or is that the number recommended? It even says how many will recommend. So obviously the 200 is the total, so that goes down here, okay? And the recommended, well, that's the thing I don't know. That's the thing I'm trying to find. So that's my missing variable. I'll call that x, okay? And so let me rewrite this off to the side here. I'm just going to solve by cross multiplying. So here, x times 5 is a 5x. 4 times 200 is an 800. And now I'm just going to divide each side by that 5. Okay, going back to my algebra skills, undoing, multiplying by dividing. And so I get 160, okay? And what's really nice about these, so we expect 160 to recommend this thing, all right? But what's really nice about this is I can easily check it and say, hey, that means I should be, this is my ratio, is 160 out of 200. And if you reduce that, guess what? You get 4 over 5. And that's kind of our check. That's the thing we were looking to see, okay? That ratio would be the same as the ratio that I started with. If I look at this one, same kind of thing. It says a restaurant buys 40 pounds of ground beef for $159.60. And really, that's giving me a ratio. It's saying, hey, 40 pounds kind of is connected to that $159.60. So 40 pounds, $159.60. And again, when you think about that ratio, the numerator, the top of this thing is pounds, and the bottom is the dollar amount, all right? So when I set up the second one here, it says, how much would you expect to pay for 70 pounds of ground beef? Well, what I'm looking for here is, okay, I have to set this up in the same way. So if the first fraction was pounds over money, the second one also has to be pounds over money. So the 70 pounds goes up here. And the money, well, that's the thing that I'm trying to find. This should be a question mark, okay, right here. But that's the thing that I'm trying to find. I want to know how much money, so I'll call it x, okay? And now once again, this is a job for my calculator. I'm going to cross multiply. 40 times x is a 40x. This other one, 70 times the 159.60, that I'll just punch into the calculator. And that gives me 11,172. And now to solve this thing, I'm going to divide each side by 40. So I divide by 40. And again, so my calculator's for. It can do the heavy lifting here, divided by 40. And so I get 279.3. I'm going to write 30 because, again, I'm talking about money. So that's how much I would expect to pay. And once again, you can easily kind of check this thing by looking at this guy and seeing if it equals the same thing as this guy. And you can punch it into a calculator and see if you get the same decimal or see if it reduces to the same fraction. And it should, okay?